one of my classes, I ended up using Google Colab before. And then you can write Python programs, especially for machine learning.
Yeah, if you any IDE will work, as long as you're able to run code like from Python, you're good. We just use Replit just because we assume that nobody has one installed, like an IDE, just to get everybody up. The pain to get everybody set up on an IDE.
All right.
Okay, so is everyone ready to start, or? Yeah.
By the way, this is for some of you guys that have already programmed in Python before. This is like intro stuff. If you did want to learn like objects and all that, I mean, we could do a breakout room. That'd be cool too.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me know in the chat if anybody's interested in like learning objects and all that.
Can you do objects in Python?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is everyone ready? No.
Thumbs up if you're ready. Put a reaction on. There's a reaction. Cool. You got one. Few people. Awesome. Cool.
So we'll probably just go back and forth, Ruben and I. So this is, if you guys are curious, this is what, like an overview of what we're going to be doing. And so we're going to first go over print statements, variables, input, output, importing the random library and using it, if statements, and then while loops. And then I'll give you guys that little like assignment. So first is a comment. Comments in Python are this hashtag symbol, and you can just write whatever you want and it won't run.
Hi.
Okay. This is a comment. Probably like it's a good idea to put whatever your headers of just like explaining like what your program is. Oh my gosh. Okay. So something like this. And then, so the next thing would probably be print statements. So you just, in Python, you just go print and then parentheses and make sure it's closed. And then and then you put in whatever you want inside this. So I'm gonna put in a string, and you can put in hello world, which is like one of the most basic like programs that you do. So you press back button and print it, and then it says hello world.
Yeah, see if everybody can get that running. So just write out a print statement, say like hello in your name or something, right? To try to get something running. And if you can't get it running, just like put some type of reaction so that we know. Or if you get it running, put a thumbs up. If you don't, what kind of reactions are there? Okay, put like one of the little ghost face where he has his mouth open if you can't get it to run.
And then also in Python, you can use both single quotes and double quotes. So like hello world or hello world, it'll be the same. You can put whatever you want there.
I have a question.
Yep.
Yeah.
How do you like how do you put variables into your Python? Like, you know, like C you can do %d or MATLAB you can do %d. How do you do that? Is it the same?
So do you want to did you want to do a format, or like just to get out decimal points, or is it like you're just trying to print a variable?
Just print a variable.
Oh, just like if you say in Python there's no int or anything like that. There is, but you don't have to specify it. So you could say just like she's doing right now. Like that.
Okay, for sure. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. So that's, I mean, in programming, you mainly you want to mess with variables. You're not really gonna want to do any like hard coding like that. But yeah, I guess we can go to variables then.
Okay. So print statements and then variables. So there's a lot of different types. Oh, I guess more variables, but yeah, like you said, in Python, you don't have to, there's like strings, ints, Booleans, but you don't have to specify it. Like if you have experience in say Java or C++, you'd have to say something like in A equals 4. In Python, you just go A equals 4. So that would be an example of a number, because in Python, if you, this is kind of an int now, but then if you do stuff to it, it can change to a double. But don't worry about that. So for example, there's an int. A string would be, if you want a string, you just already assign it, and then you put double quotes or single quotes. So string, and then you can also have a Boolean, and in Python, it's you capitalize it, and you can write either true or false. So d equals, let's see what else. Oh, and then with variables, you can do stuff to it. So like, say A is equal to 4, and maybe E is equal to 5. You can go F is equal to A plus E. But you have to make sure the types are correct too. So like, what's cool about Python is you can, how you didn't have to specify it, but then you have to be careful, because if you went A plus B, you're gonna get issues. G is equal to A plus, then that's an int plus a string. So you'd get an error.
You could show how to fix that with the
Yeah,
typecast.
you can do this too. So I have an example here. Let's see. So if you want it to be a string, you can go, this is A plus B, you would go str. And that turns this type A into a string. So when you print G, it's going to be 4 string, like that. And then also what you can do actually is you can change something back to an int. So if something is like 5, but it's a string because of the types, you can turn it into, could you do this?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, that'd be allowed to. Oh, it doesn't.
Yeah, so you can go back and forth. These are called typecasting. There's a few other things that you can do as well with this stuff. Same thing with the Booleans, you can do that as well. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of messy here, but so I don't know. Okay, so the next part is probably input output. Do you want to do that? Do you want to take over for any part, Megan?
Sure. How do I?
Oh,
Should I do it on?
you can take remote control actually.
Oh, can I? Cool. Let me do that.
Okay.
Okay, cool. This is input. Let's just call it IO. Yeah, cool. So this IDE likes to finish statements for you so you can program faster. That's why I like auto finish that. But say you like your program, usually you don't want to just write all this stuff like A equals 4 or E equals 5, or how hard coding, right? You want to have it to be dynamic. So sometimes, like, let's say you want to accept input from a user. Let's say you're asking for their name or something, right? What you can do is say, like, let's make a variable. We'll call it name, and then we'll say input um, right here. And then just like a print statement, you can put anything you want in here. So you can put like, what is, all this stuff is like showing up. I don't know why. Name. Okay, so let me get that out of the way so you can see it. So, okay, so right here it's gonna, if I run this, it's gonna give me a prompt And now it's all weird over there on that side. I'm trying my best over here. All right. Let me get this for a minute. So it's asking me now what's my name. So if I enter something like my name's Ruben, it's not gonna do anything, right? Because I haven't done anything with that variable. So let's just to test it out, we're gonna print this thing out. We're gonna print out my name. So what the program should do is ask me for my name and then print out my name. So I'm gonna do it again. And there you go, print out my name. You can do other things with it as well. Like instead of asking just my name, I can put like my age, right? I can put input. I don't have to put a prompt, but I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna put age. And then let's say I'm gonna show you a weird part about this that you kind of have to pay attention to. But okay, cool. So now it's gonna ask me my name again. By the way, put it like some sort of reaction or speak up if this is like too fast or anything like that. I'm gonna put in my age, so I'm 22. Cool. So print out my age back. The thing about input is that it always accept like the input that you give it is always going to come back as a string. So it's going to come out with basically the data type or the variable type that is what's it called with the quotations, right? It's a string. So I can't do any math with this age, right? So if I say like 4 plus age, it should give me an error. Let's do this. Age 22. Yeah, there you go. Because it's saying, just like Angela showed before, it's doing an int and a string. These two data types are different, so it doesn't know what to do with it, right? So if I want to, what's it called, change that, I can put, or actually, I can change that to an integer using this int function like we use up here. Got to wrap the whole thing inside of it as well. So now if I run this, it shouldn't give me anything. So yeah, it didn't do anything because I didn't want to print that out, but I can print that out. But yeah, that's pretty much how input works. If you want to accept user input, if you're doing numbers, you want to cast that over. If you're just doing strings, you can just leave it alone. Cool. Anybody have any questions about that? Cool.
So then the next thing would probably be importing libraries. So kind of a common thing you'll end up using in coding when you're coding is random ints, random numbers, and you can create your own functions to figure that out using formulas of how to create a random thing. But what's really common is to import a library. So that would be probably something like import random. That's the most common. So you just do that. And there's lots of different ways you use to use random, but a really common one that you'll see would be something like random int is equal to. So then you go random dot rand dot rand int. And then
Yeah,
you
it's lowercase.
put the lower, so you put, and then you put the two numbers that you want it to be in between. So if I want a random int between 1 and 100, then that's what I would do. And then you can print that too. So it should give me, get rid of, gives me a random number, so that it was 48. And then if you keep running, it's just gonna, each time it's a different number.
Can you make a breakout room with Erickson and I?
Okay.
We're gonna do objects in that run. So if you already know some of the basics of Python, I can just help you guys out with some objects and stuff like that.
I don't think I'm the host, so I don't think I'm in charge of that.
Okay. So I don't know how to make you the host, except you know, if you let me
Oh,
know.
you can just do it.
Yeah, if you go to participants, you can do it from there. Make people host.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. So you just have total control of this workshop.
All right.
Okay. Yep. All right, you should be host now, Angie. And I can make you host, Ruben.
Yeah, can you make Ruben the
Yeah.
host?
Yeah, okay.
Angela, now you have to do it, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Because I was wondering why I couldn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, is anybody else interested? Give me a thumbs up if you're interested in the object stuff. Okay, cool. So there's a few people. Okay, I'll definitely add you guys to that once I'm the host. Yeah, keep your thumbs up there.
How do I make you the host?
Or just put in the chat if you're interested. Sorry, it's a lot easier. Go to participants and then go to more, like under my name. Okay. Cool. You already made me host.
Mhm.
All right, I'm gonna make a breakout room. All right. Okay. Put in the chat if you want to join. I'll put you in there. Now. I think I got everybody. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. All right. It should let you join if you're part of it. I'll just see you guys there.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, so there's 2 more things, and then you would have enough to make this little project that I made up. So 2 things next are if statements and while loops. So if statements, you can go, if and then you don't need parentheses actually. Then you put in whatever statement you have, and then if it's true, then it's going to keep going. So if, how about an example would be like if 1 plus 2 is equal to 3, then you print, and then you can go like, this is true or something like that. And then an else, and if it wasn't true, then it wouldn't print. So for example, so if I do that and I run it, it'll print out. But if I put maybe if it equals 4, this statement that I put in isn't true, so it won't run. Does that make sense?
And so, Angie, you need the semicolon at the end of the if statement.
Oh, yeah, you do. And then also with Python, you need this next statement to be indented. So if I went, if I do it like this, there's an error. It doesn't, after an if statement, you need that to happen. Also, you can put multiple statements too. So like print, oopsies, this is true. Oh, and then like another statement like Kai. It'll listen to everything that's inside this part, kind of like you put it in a box almost. Like everything in this box will keep going if this statement is true. And then you can also have an else along with it. And you can put something else in there like this is false. So So yeah, in this one, it would print this is false, like that. Okay. And then lastly, with while loops. So a while loop is going to, it's just a way to get code to keep looping through. It sounds kind of redundant, but so if you put while and then you put a statement in there and then a semicolon, it'll do everything here. So maybe while, let's see what's common, like making a number called index. Index is equal to 0. So while index is less than 10, you're going to print something that you want, like today is Wednesday. And then if I change it, I can also inside here make index equal to index plus 1. And then it's going to run this like 10 times. Like that. And then you also have to be careful to say I don't have this statement, it's just going to run forever. So you have to make sure if you have a loop, you have a way to break out of a loop. So this would be an example of how to do that. Okay, so I feel like I made it kind of confusing, but technically I've given you all the information to code something like this where, oh, I didn't write down the assignment, but it's like, the assignment is to create a random, take an integer and then make a random int, like make, so assign a variable to a random integer between 1 and 10, and then ask the user for input, and then you're gonna loop through until you get it right. How does that sound? Do you guys want to try that? Or I can just walk you through it too. Do you guys want to try it on your own or?
Yeah, I guess we could just take like some time to try it on our own, and then if we get
Okay.
stuck, we can ask questions.
Let me explain. Let me write it out if you guys. So, oh, also in Python, a way to write multiple comments is like this. So 3 quotes up here and then 3 quotes down here. So So how about maybe take like, just try it out and then tell me if you guys run into any problems, you guys can just ask. And then eventually I'll just walk through how you would approach this situation. I think at 6:15, I'll check out the again.
Angie, do you mind scrolling up to where you have the random? Did you take? Oh yeah, right there.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Thank you. I mean, I guess you could take it back to the question if that's fine with everyone.
Yeah, so probably something like it would be look something like and then so you ask the user something like this, and then you enter, and then you can take that int and then if they get it right, then you can say like, good job. Or if they get it wrong, be like, just say try again. And it'll just keep looping through. So let me share something. It would probably look something like, it would probably look something like this. So random number between 0 to 10, enter your guess, and say guess 5. And you just keep trying. Oh, if you put in something that's not an int, it would also not work. So 3, 5. Okay, so it's been like 5 minutes. I can walk you guys through how you would actually solve this. So let me share my screen, sorry. Okay, so let me just get rid of all of this. So first you would have to import random. And then you would need your variable, that's your int. So this is how. So maybe ran, so r is equal to random dot ran int, and then you pick your bounds of that. So then you're going to need to create a Boolean called maybe game over is equal to false. And then you're going to prompt the user to, you're going to tell them to pick a random number. So print random number from 1 to 10. So then now you'd have to put this, so you're gonna make while get game over is not true. So then in Python, you'd have to write it like this, while not game over with the colon. So then now everything that you're gonna put in the loop is gonna have to be indented. So guess, maybe you can make something like called guess equals int input, and then enter your guess. And then if the user guessed correctly, so this is an int guess, so then you, if it equals this r that you picked at the beginning, then you would write with another indent that they guessed correctly. Because you guessed right, then you can exit that loop, so you would change game over to be true. And then otherwise, here, if in your else statement, you would just go you would say you could print something and then you don't change game over. So then it would loop back to the beginning. And that's how you would do, that's how you would do it. So if I run it, oh, sorry. Yeah, it would look like this one. It would look like what I showed earlier. That's how you would do it. Does anyone have any questions? I did kind of do that a little fast, but. If there are no questions, then that's kind of, that's how you would do this program. That's about it for me.
I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
So basically the else ends the while loop. Is that what's going on there?
Mhm.
Okay.
Wait, what was your question?
Oh, I said so the else. So you know how you have like an if and else statement, right?
Mhm.
So the else ends the while loop.
Right here is if you use the while loop. So, so say your int is equal to, say, like pretend it was equal to 4. Like this random number between 0 to 10 is 4. So then you made game over to equal to false. So, and this is just a print statement. So while not game over, so this is what makes it enter.
Right.
Guess equals int input guess year. So this line is asking the user for an int. This line is checking if your int, if the int equals user input is equal to the random number here. If it is, then you make game over equal to true. So if they get, so say you put in 4, it's gonna, it'll enter the if statement here and change game over to true.
Right.
And because it's an if, it'll ignore this else. And then it goes back up here. So then now it says while not game over. So while not game over means while game over equals false. But now game over is equal to true, so it won't enter it anymore.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Python is like just kind of a really big language. Is just a little bit of it, but hopefully it can like it gives you an idea of what Python at least looks like. So no one has any questions. I think that's all for this workshop. That's and if you have any questions, you can just type it in or just say anything, but that's about it.
So I see one question.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. Okay. If you place the r equals random int into the while loop, would that generate a random? Yeah. Oh, okay. Wait, let me share my screen again. Place the r. It wouldn't be ideal to do that, I think, because then I guess you could. So it's, but then the only thing I would recommend is, so that one would mean like if you guessed it right the very first time, yeah, it would create a new one each time. So it would be making sure you wouldn't be able to do the thing that I did where it's like, if it's not 5, then it has to be, then you just keep trying 10 times. It would be like, it would randomly turn into 5, and then you guess something. If you get it wrong, it'll go loop back and then it'll change it to like 10, and then you have to guess that. And then it'll just keep looping into like, it'll turn into 1 and then you have to guess that. Does that make sense? You can, yeah, it would be harder. That's a good question though. I like it. Any other questions? If not, then I hope you guys got some use out of this, and I'll probably end this meeting, and thank you for attending this workshop. Okay. Okay. everybody. Yeah, have a nice night.